Hi, I'm Tim. It's Privacy Awareness Week, so let's talk about how privacy is everyone's business. I started in the privacy space in 2014 at the Office of the Australian Information Commissioner. So they're the federal regulator of privacy law. My role is head of privacy at eHealth. So I'm really involved in promoting a culture of privacy awareness and fostering sort of privacy compliance across eHealth and health more broadly. I think a culture of privacy awareness is sort of where staff of the organisation have a privacy-first mindset, and they're really thinking about privacy by design. So if you're developing a new ICT product or solution, you're thinking about doing a privacy impact assessment and thinking about the privacy implications of that at the first instance. It also means thinking about how you're securing information on a day-to-day basis. So thinking about things as basic as password hygiene and locking your computer and all of these sorts of things. So it's just an awareness across the organisation that privacy is very important, for each other and for yourself and for the community that we're here to serve. There's something called the right to be forgotten, and this is not currently in New South Wales law, but it is in other laws in other jurisdictions like the EU. The right to be forgotten sort of goes to this problem where we're in the internet age, where something that you did when you were 16 could still be on the internet, readily available via Google, some embarrassing thing, and the right to be forgotten basically says, well, you can go to Google and say, look, I'd like this thing to be deleted because it's of a certain age, or in other circumstances. Or you can go to an organisation and say, you've had my data for when you needed it, but I now would like it deleted. And that helps both in terms of allowing you to move on when something has happened, but also to protect yourself from things like data breaches or cyber attacks. The Privacy Act at the Commonwealth level has recently been amended, so to bring it up to date in terms of sort of modern privacy standards. One of the provisions in that legislation was introducing a cause of action for privacy breaches, so allowing a person, if their privacy has been violated or contravened in some way, to sue the relevant organisation for that. I think this particular change to privacy legislation really speaks to evolving expectations of privacy and a sort of heightened standard, and in terms of what citizens are expecting when they're providing information. Top example would be 1984 by George Orwell. I think when I read it in high school, it was sort of seemed really fantastical. This image of Big Brother and being able to know what's happening in a private conversation where no one else is present. The idea of doublespeak and things like this, I think are really strange, or were really strange at the time. But I think as technology has moved so quickly, I think it becomes this idea of a total surveillance state becomes more real or more realistic. The lesson to be learned from that is that privacy is this fundamental sort of presence, and if it's not upheld, you really are very close to a totalitarian regime. And I think, unfortunately, the majority of the planet lives in situations where they don't have a right to privacy, and human rights aren't upheld. And I think that we're really blessed to be in a democratic country who values that human right to privacy. And I think it's important that we continue to be aware of it and promote it, because it is it's our business, that right that we have.